Welcome to the first video ranking the top 10 seasons that could use a re-edit. This video is a collaboration between Once Upon an Island and Eager Turtle. It will cover the 10th and 9th worst edited seasons. The introduction video that you can now click on goes over some of the reasoning behind how the list will be ranked. If you haven't yet, you should watch the video to get a better understanding of the criteria that went into making this list. So number 10 on the list is Heroes vs Villains. Some people are probably shocked that this iconic season is on the list, as it's widely accepted as one of the best seasons. It's still a great season with some amazing moments.
Hopefully I can trust you and you're not truly a villain.
Yes, I am.
Let's do this together. See you soon. BFF forever.
But I look at Heroes vs Villains as a bunch of missed opportunities, editing mishaps, and poorly told stories. Just looking at the confessional count for this season shows some of the unbalanced airtime among the players. Our winner Sandra literally went 6 episodes in a row without a confessional.
You know what? I can get loud too. What the?
Even confessional queen Courtney only received 4 confessionals in her 9-episode run during the season.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
It wasn't like the season was jam-packed with so much content that we couldn't include moments from these under-edited players. We had those really long recaps where the show got so excited over the idea that some heroes are acting like villains and some villains are acting like heroes.
But not every hero acted heroically. JT dipped into the villains playbook. At the villains camp, Boston Rob behaved heroically. At the heroes camp, JT embraced the dark side. At the villains camp, Rob's heroic actions made him the de facto tribe leader. Things were so bad that some of the heroes started to behave like villains.
There's also that really awkward 5-minute scene of Rob passing out, which we didn't actually need to see. The camera crew clearly didn't actually capture the moment, so they try to recapture it using Rob and Jerry's acting instead.
Talk to me, what's going on? Can you just open your eyes, please? Please, Rob, come on, just look at me.
I feel like it's getting the best of me.
There were major storylines that basically had no conclusion. The biggest case of this was Jerry and Colby, who had previously played together in 2 seasons and had an ongoing feud. The two both made the final episode, but really had no content together, even though they were the most iconic duo in Survivor history. Jerry and Colby surprisingly got along pretty well this season, which would have been amazing to see, but this is the only moment we got of them interacting all season.
Hey, Colby.
A rematch. Jerry Manthe, Colby Donaldson going all the way back to season 2.
It's an adorable moment, but I just wish we saw more of it. Just looking at Jerry's reaction to Colby getting voted out shows how much he had grown to care about him in comparison to All Stars.
Yes, I feel like I'm being evil right now, but boy, does it feel good.
Candace's negatively skewed edit and the odd portrayal of what was actually happening during the season is a perfect example of some of the flaws within the edit. It felt like the season went out of its way to protect the reputation of the legendary players, while completely misrepresenting or ignoring other players. This tends to be a common occurrence in a lot of returning player seasons, which I really hope Survivor stops in the future.
Wendell's walking around like he's so confident and he owns this place and he's running the show.
I said, Michelle, hey, please be mindful and be careful of this aggressive narrative that Harv is pushing.
Candace was constantly portrayed as paranoid. This includes the odd scene where the tribe is making fun of Candace for being paranoid that someone is making up lies about her, when that is a very valid thing to be concerned about in Survivor.
Candace, she's a nut. Everybody's getting upset with Candace because she's hustling a little bit too much. I don't know what's wrong with the girl.
The secret scenes paint a completely different picture of her experience on the show, as an underdog instead of a paranoid mess. Candace also had ongoing issues with Amanda that weren't well explained in the show, where they both didn't trust each other.
No matter what comes up around camp, I always feel like Amanda's eyes are watching me and she's always wary of me and what I'm doing.
Another extended secret scene also shows that Amanda lied to Candace about what happened on Reward with that hidden idol clue. I'm pretty sure you know which one I'm talking about.
Give it to me. Kidding me. Oh my God. Found it. Give me back the clue.
Can you give it back to me, please?
No.
Part of the conversation is actually shown on TV, but it cuts to confessional when Candace talks about why she isn't trusting Amanda. Here's what we see in the extended secret scene.
I'm ready to put her name down. She has crossed me too many times. She came back here and lied to me about the immunity idol clue.
And here's what the edited episode does to purposely avoid explaining Candace's motives.
I'm ready to put her name down. She has crossed me too many times. Going into tribal, I knew that either way that I chose.
It's this manipulation of events during the editing of Heroes vs. Villains that plagues my enjoyment of it. The show even changed the order of who was left in the final 6 immunity challenge to make it appear like Rupert fell just short of winning against Parvati. In reality, Jerry was a runner-up, as confirmed by Colby in an interview with Reality Blurred. The awkward editing of Jerry dropping out of the challenge is pretty evident editing manipulation when looking back.
Oh, out of nowhere, Jerry's poll drops. Jerry's out of this challenge. We are down to 2, Parvati and Rupert.
Finally, the debate about Parvati versus Sandra in regards to who deserved the win is still held today. Sorry, Russell.
Parvati wants me to get rid of Sandra because she can't even beat Sandra. She surely can't beat me.
I believe that a lot of the disagreement comes down to the edit not telling a clear enough story of why Parvati would lose in the end. Parvati was shown making big moves that were the center point of the season's outcome.
Jerry, that one's for you too.
Damn it.
On the other hand, the edit didn't make it clear that Parvati's big moves had alienated people, and they were seen as enabling Russell to get further in the game. When the heroes were annoyed at Russell in the post-merge, Parvati was always shielded in the edit from this negativity. Parvati also never pretended to consider working with the heroes at any point in the season.
The villain invasion happened, and now the villains are running this place, and there ain't gonna be any heroes left. No heroes.
While Parvati still played a great season, if the edit more clearly showed some of Parvati's negative aspects in her game, the audience may have been less divided about why Sandra won. I still think Heroes as Villains is a fantastic season and is great to watch, but it definitely had some flaws in the editing room.
I'm on board.
Yeah.
Fully.
Number 9 is Season 4 Survivor Marquesas. Yes, the season where we see the birth of the Rob father, the fall of the Road to 4.
First member of our jury, John. No need to read the last vote.
And the infamous purple rock drop.
Well, that feels like purple, Jeff.
Reveal.
I told you it felt purple.
Marquesas is a unique case when it comes to its edit. It has the common flaws of any season that ultimately disappoints its viewers at the end. It spends a lot of time on characters that go home in the middle of the season, like Boston Rob and John Carroll.
Don't tell me one thing, and just because I think about something, or just because I talk to somebody, then all of a sudden it's off.
So what am I supposed to be, like, naive?
You're playing both sides?
It completely hides its winner for 80% of the time in Vesepia Towery.
This is too much drama.
And the person who just misses making Final Tribal Council is actually the one you were rooting for all along in Kathy Vavrick O'Brien. So how could this be fixed? What could be done to make this season a more enjoyable experience from start to finish? The answer is quite simple. Put a larger focus on the winner. Now, this doesn't mean a re-edit should ignore those other things I mentioned earlier or those other players I mentioned earlier. We like those things. There's some big events this season and some big characters. Boston Rob, John Carroll, Kathy Vavrick O'Brien are still great and deserve the focus they get, but it doesn't make sense why after Rob and John are gone, the Vesepia is still largely being hidden from the audience. It feels a lot like what had happened after Richard played on season 1, where we hide the winner. It starts in the Australian outback when the editors deliberately hide Tina in episode 1 because in season 1, it was super obvious if you really thought about it that Richard was going to win.
But I've got the $1 million check written already. I mean, I'm the winner. And it's that kind of cocky attitude that makes people really hate your guts.
So they completely hid Tina in episode 1 of season 2 to try to make you think, she doesn't have a chance. But people found that to be fishy and declared her the winner on message boards because of it. So for the most part, winner edits were toned down after Richard. So let's observe Vesepia, only playing 3 seasons after Richard after all. Does she give confessionals that are instantly quotable like Boston Rob? No.
Fear keeps people loyal. If they're afraid they have something to lose, then they'll do what they tell you to do. That's straight out of The Godfather.
But she does play one of the greatest games of Survivor in its first 8 seasons that simply cannot be overlooked. She starts on a tribe that just loses and loses until the swap happens, where she goes to row 2 and is down in numbers 5-3. She instantly integrates herself into the tribe, but we only hear about this from Boston Rob's angle, where he calls her a kiss up because she isn't doing what he wants.
V's a lot better at, you know what I'm saying? V's smoothing
V is
a little.
definitely, I don't know what V is doing, but she's definitely disassociating herself from us in a real clear, invisible manner.
But why can't his view be contrasted with Vesepia's point of view about how this is actually a smart tactic to survive in the game? After all, it does work, so it isn't like later on in the season we're gonna learn, oh, it didn't work, that was pointless, why did we learn this about Vesepia? Because it does work after all, as she is never considered a target while Rob and Sean stir up trouble all the way to the merge, where Vesepia's original tribe is now down 7-3. And once Boston Rob is voted out, she is down 7-2 at the beginning of the jury phase. That means that no matter what, she is either going to have to deal with 6 or possibly 7 jury members who are not from her original tribe, who are not really her peers. They're not going to treat her favorably at Final Tribal Council, that's for sure. It's a massive uphill battle in early Survivor, and she overcomes it. She helps with the flip on the power lines of the row 2-4 and systematically eliminates them one by one.
I swear we could take them, man. I swear we could.
I wouldn't know if we had Pascal and Maria for sure, though.
John was voted out and the alliance was systematically eliminated one by one.
Then at Final 5, her partner all game, Sean, is voted out, so she is flying solo at the Final 4.
So I am the only one that has to work for the next 2 or 3 days. And I will work. Work.
She wins immunity and cuts a deal with the fan favorite Kathy to help force a purple rock draw, which is the only time this happens in the first 26 seasons. And then at Final 3, backs out on her deal with Kathy by cutting a deal with Nalia, who is the easier person to beat.
I'll give you immunity. I'll drop off if you take me in with you, okay?
And wins over the jury by a slim margin of 4-3. It is a true underdog story. She had almost no chance to end up at the Final 2, and she does that. And she wins. It's even crazier when you think about it. And yet, she made all the right moves to do so. And yet, the story is so focused on what everyone else is doing that Vesepia is almost non-existent once the swap happens in the pre-merge, until we reach the finale where all of a sudden, oh, now we're hearing her thoughts on everything. It hurts what she accomplished and hurts the casual viewer's opinion on her, with the casual audience who's not sitting there thinking about everything she does, what they think about her. A good winner edit combined with everything else this season would instantly move it up to a top tier season for most of us.
Stay drama free, and that's the way to be. You know, when the drama starts, I walk away. If my name's not in it, then I'm not in it.
We very much appreciate you watching the video, and we hope you stay tuned for more. We're curious to know what you think about the season and the edit, so please let us know in the comments below. Stay tuned for the next entry, where we cover a new school and an old school season. Also, if you can, please subscribe and become a patron to both our channels for extra benefits. Please let me know what you thought about the season, but always remember,
loose lips sink ships.
Yes, they do.
And yes, they did.